Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and tackle a scary, absolutely soul-sucking monster that might literally be living inside your bank account right this second. Yeah, I'm talking about your business. If you're an entrepreneur or a business leader, you already know exactly how hard it is to stitch a company together from just a great idea and sheer willpower. But honestly, far too often that beautiful dream just kind of mutates into an out-of-control, cash-eating monster. So today, we're pulling out the core methodology from Mike Michalowicz's highly acclaimed framework, Profit First. This is a system that's specifically designed to transform your business from that cash-eating monster into a predictable, reliable money-making machine. Now, Michalowicz has built and sold multiple multi-million-dollar companies himself, so he knows his stuff. And his approach here, it isn't just about crunching numbers. It's really about fundamentally changing how you interact with your cash on a daily basis. Now, what's super interesting is the reality behind this 50% statistic. You probably already know that roughly 50% of businesses fail in their first 5 years, right? But here is the secret nobody tells you. Those failed entrepreneurs, honestly, they're often the lucky ones. Seriously, the majority of businesses that actually survive are, well, just surviving. They're racking up debt, the leaders are perpetually stressed out, and profit? It always seems to be just out of reach. It's like profit is treated as this mystical future event rather than an everyday habit. We're going to fix that today with a really clear roadmap. We'll cover 1, the cash-eating monster, 2, the profit first formula, 3, core principles, 4, setting up accounts, 5, putting profit into motion, and finally, 6, avoiding mistakes. So let's jump straight into section 1, the cash-eating monster, because bigger is definitely not better. And that brings us right to section 2, the profit first formula, where we'll be flipping the script entirely. You see, when cash gets tight, chasing growth without actually focusing on profitability just feeds that monster we talked about. We absolutely have to stop the bleeding. And this whole concept brilliantly illustrates the fatal flaw in traditional accounting, which, as we've all been taught, dictates that sales minus expenses equals profit. Think about it. This primes us to sell as hard as we possibly can, pay all our bills, and then desperately hope, fingers crossed, that there's something left over. But let's be real, there rarely is. So the profit first new way flips this completely on its head. Sales minus profit equals expenses. It's a game changer. You literally take your profit off the top immediately, and then you are forced to run your business on whatever is left over. All right, moving into section 3, 4 core business principles. We're looking at the psychology of cash. To actually make this radical new formula work, we have to lean heavily into behavioral psychology. We basically need these simple lifestyle fixes that change how we manage our money without us even really noticing it. Now, it all starts with Parkinson's law. Formulated way back in 1955, this law basically states that the demand for something expands to match its supply. Translated for us? Well, when you have a massive pile of cash sitting in one main bank account, your business is intuitively going to find a way to consume every single penny of it. It's just human nature. The more cash we see, the more we spend. So, the solution is surprisingly simple. Use smaller plates. Think of it exactly like a diet where you use smaller plates to physically curb your portion sizes. In business, you must intentionally make less money available to operate. When there's just less cash sitting in your operating account, you're automatically going to run your business more frugally. You literally force yourself to become far more innovative with what you actually have. Building right on top of Parkinson's law, we add 3 more key principles to the mix. First up is the primacy effect. By putting the word profit first in our new formula, it instantly becomes the primary focus. It's never an afterthought again. Next, we have to remove temptation. You literally move your profit totally out of sight so you can't spend it. Out of sight, out of mind. And finally, enforce a rhythm. By establishing a predictable, set schedule for your cash management, you completely short-circuit that awful daily panic of wondering, wait, do I have enough money to make payroll this week? Let's transition to section 4, setting up your accounts. Consider this your training montage. Let's move into the practical application of this and build an actual physical banking setup for your business. Because let's be honest, you can't just do this in a spreadsheet. You need real hard boundaries. You need to go ahead and set up these 5 foundational checking accounts. First, you've got income. Now, this account acts purely as a serving tray. Money comes in, but it definitely does not stay there. From there, you distribute that money into the other 4 accounts: profit, owner's comp, which by the way is your salary for actually working in the business, tax, and finally OPEX or operating expenses. Here's the kicker. You only ever pay bills with what is available in that OPEX account. If there isn't enough in there, well, it means you can't afford those expenses, period. Now, to really enforce that remove temptation principle we talked about, you're actually going to need two different banks. Keep your income and OPEX accounts at your convenient everyday primary bank so you can easily pay your operating bills. But, and this is absolutely crucial, you must hide your profit and tax accounts at a completely new, inconvenient secondary bank. Don't set up online transfers, don't get a debit card for it, make it genuinely painful to access that money so you can't easily, quote-unquote, borrow from yourself the second OPEX runs dry.
Okay, moving right along to Section 5, putting profit into motion. It's time to take action.
So now that your accounts are all open and waiting, we have to put the money into motion without completely shocking your business into cardiac arrest. A classic mistake I see all the time is trying to take this massive 20% profit on day one. Please don't do that. You need to understand the difference between your current allocation percentage, or your cap, and your target allocation percentage, your TAP. Your TAP is your ultimate goal, right? But your cap is simply where you are today. Start with your actual historical percentages, even if your profit has literally been zero up until now. Just add 1% to profit to start building the habit. Then, slowly, quarter by quarter, you can work your way up toward that target allocation. To really enforce your new rhythm, just follow these 5 simple steps on the 10th and the 25th of every single month. Step 1, deposit all your revenue straight into income. Step 2, transfer that money into your other accounts based on your current caps. Step 3, move the profit and tax money completely out of sight to that inconvenient second bank. Step 4, pay yourself your owner's comp. You earned it. And finally, Step 5, pay your business bills from whatever is left over in OPEX. By doing this twice a month, you're going to transform chaotic cash management into a highly predictable, genuinely peaceful routine. But here's the catch. To actually fund these new accounts, you have to find the cash first. You need to execute a full debt freeze and start cutting expenses. I want you to print out your last 12 months of expenses and literally get a pen, ruthlessly marking every single line. Use a P for items that directly generate profit, an R for things you can easily replace with a cheaper alternative, and a U for totally unnecessary. You must cut your costs by 10% immediately. Go ahead and cancel those software subscriptions you never use, try to negotiate your rent, and call your bank to stop all automatic withdrawals. It sounds harsh, but it absolutely forces ultimate accountability. And hey, finding cash isn't just about slashing expenses. It's also about building efficiency. You actually need to fire the demanding, bad clients that just drain your energy and completely eat up your margins. I know it's scary, but doing this creates the space you need to focus entirely on cloning your absolute best clients. You know, the ones who pay you what you're actually worth on time and without questioning everything you do. Serving a smaller but highly consistent client base makes your day-to-day operations incredibly efficient. All right, our final section, Section 6, avoiding common mistakes. This is all about staying the course. As you start to build this new financial muscle and actually see real cash accumulating for once, there are a few really dangerous traps that can pull you right back into the monster's jaws. The biggest mistakes I see include trying to implement this entirely alone without an accountability buddy, or, like we mentioned earlier, getting eager and taking way too much profit too soon, essentially crashing the business. And please, don't fall for the age-old myth that you must grow first to profit later. The healthiest companies profit first, and then they grow. Also, absolutely never raid your tax account to pay operating bills. No way. Finally, beware of the ultimate trap, blindly plowing back your hard-earned profits into the business. Think about it. If you just plow it right back into expenses, well, it was never really profit in the first place, was it? Look, let's be honest. Implementing this system is going to feel awkward. Slashing your expenses and freezing your debt is probably going to be painful at first, but as the great athlete Sir Roger Bannister once said, the man who can drive himself further once the effort gets painful is the man who will win. Pushing through that initial discomfort is exactly the thing that separates the true winners from the perpetually stressed out survivors. Ultimately, by enforcing this profit-first rhythm, using smaller plates, and completely removing temptation, you finally regain control of the ship. So as you pull up your bank accounts tomorrow morning, I want you to ask yourself this one lingering question. Are you endlessly serving your business, or is your business finally serving you?